Alam nyo guys, sobrang excited ko to film this episode and this might go down as one of the most favorite episodes ko so far. Kaya naman for the second episode of Usapang Negosyo, I will share with you the business mistakes and learnings that I made that helped me retire in my 30s. So if you just watch this and you're curious kung ano yung nangyari and paano ko natutunan itong mga to, click right here sa taas and watch the first episode. Yung first episode wherein I lost my life savings operating a convenience store. Para maiwasan nyo yung bankruptcy, sobrang laki ng naluluging negosyo, and ultimately, going into very risky businesses, especially sa mga OFW natin dito. And one of your biggest mistakes is nag-invest kayo sa business dito sa Pilipinas kahit wala kayo dito, thinking that it will be a passive source of income. Maling-mali yan, guys. Kaya naman, wag na natin patagalin. Hit subscribe and follow me on my socials. Let's hop into the video, guys. First thing that I've learned is sa kahit anong negosyo, for any type of businesses, you have to start small. I always tell other people, start small first. Madaling mag-scale later. Kayang-kaya mong palakihin yan if you're sure with what you're doing already. Starting a small business will enable you to test your strategy. May improve mo yung product mo or the service that you are providing to the market. Makakapag-troubleshoot ka ng problems sa negosyo kasi hindi pa siya ganun kakomplikado, guys. Mas maliit pa lang siya. Plus, mapipinpoint mo na rin yung areas for improvement. Gusto niyo na example? Ganito, guys. Instead of building a grocery or a convenience store, why not try posting grocery items or the fast-moving items muna on your social media or on your online store or shop. In that way, you can learn on what works and what doesn't. Kung ano yung mga items na more or less, kahit nga hindi binibili, mas merong engagement, or some people will give you feedback kung ano yung gusto nilang isama doon sa store mo. Pwede mong gawin, instead na mag-build ka ng isang physical store, mag-serve ka muna within your neighborhood or your community or sa isang barangay ka lang muna, isang certain specific area ka lang muna, para na sa ganun, more or less alam mo kung ano yung mabenta on your local place. And yun lang, of course, yung mga items na i-stock mo muna. Makakatipid ka sa manpower, sa security, sa utility bills mo. More or less, may estimate ko yung mga kakailanganin mo kapag mag-expand ka na. And then, the next step naman dito is maybe you can get a small place, pwesto sa palengke or wet market, or pwede mag-abang ka rin ng vacancies near your place. Pwede ka rin makausap sa mga existing establishments if pwede ka tayo ng maliit muna na structure tapos saka mo nilang palalakihin. And ang best na resulta pa nito, guys, is you will be able to test if tama yung hypothesis mo or yung something in your mind na i-implement bago ka gumastos ng katakot-takot or milyon-milyon sa construction na hindi mo na mababawi, sa renta. And alam naman natin na hindi lang yung pera mo yung ginagastos mo when you're investing into a business. This is what often people mistake it for. Kunwari OFW ka or empleyado ka lang dito sa Pilipinas, ilang taon pinaghirapan mo yan. Tinipid mo sa sahod mo. Hindi mo binili yung sasakyan na gusto mo. Tinipid mo yung dapat itatravel ng asawa mo, ng pamilya mo, ng mga anak mo. Kasi gusto mo yung pera na yan, ilaan mo sa negosyo. Tapos, isang ganun lang. Isang idlap na wala lang lahat. So, imagine that. Ilang taon yung sinayang mo. And ilang taon ulit yung iipunin mo before you can have your second shot. So, again, first tip, always start small. Test your ideas and then scale afterwards. Second lesson that I've learned during the period of my bankruptcy is only 1 out of your 10 ideas will work. Ibig sabihin, sa 10 negosyo na pinaplano mo or ginawa mo, isa lang dyan yung magkiklik. Yung siyam na yun, malulugi yun, mamamatay yun, hindi ka makakabawi dun. Ang common mistake ng mga typical wannabe or mga business coaches natin, by the way, I'm not a business coach, kinikwento ko lang kung ano yung nangyari sa akin, but a common mistake is, try mo lang, try and try until you succeed. Diba? Laban lang hanggang mamatay. Hindi ganun dapat ang mentality, guys. Remember, limited yung oras natin dito sa mundo. You will also age. You will also lose your ability to earn. Kung seaman ka ngayon, malakas yung resistensya mo ngayon. Kung OFW ka ngayon, malakas yung katawan mo ngayon. Pero hindi lahat ng oras malakas yan. Hindi lahat ng oras pwede kang mag-risk sa negosyo na hindi ka sigurado. Isipin mo yung family mo. Hindi infinite yung oras na as your children age, parehas pa rin yung mga needs nila. Mag-high school sila, magka-college sila, lalaki yung gastos. Ikaw din, tatanda ka, magkakaroon ka ng maintenance. Of course, kailangan mo magpagamot. Minsan, yung starter families natin dito, lumalaki din yung pamilya mo. So, yung resources mo, nako-compress din. So, hindi totoo yung try and try until you die, guys. You have to be very sure na yung limited tries mo through your life is worth it. Kung meron kang 10 ideas, isipin mo dyan, siyam dyan, hindi gagana. Isa lang yung gagana dyan. Grabe, Jomac, sobrang pessimistic. Ayoko na nga, ayawan na. Hindi naman. What I'm just trying to say is, bago ka pumusta o tumalpak dyan, is i-consider mo talaga na limitado yung number of tries mo. Imaginein mo, meron ka ng mga 3, 4, or 5 times at this to get things right. Pero at the same time naman, of course, yung siyam na yon, siguro yung 3 doon or yung 4, kahit papano, kumita ng konti or meron ka natutunan na pwede mong improve and ilalagay mo naman sa next na business mo ngayon yung learning mo. And the 1 or 2 businesses na tatagal dun sa 10 naging negosyo mo previously, doon ka naman makakabawi ng sobra-sobra. So ito yung usually nakikita natin sa mainstream media na multi-millionaire, sobrang yaman, sobrang hindi na, wala nang nagiging problema sa pera. Ito yun guys, hindi pinapakita or hindi na nila hina-highlight yung journey from 0 to 100. Ang gusto lang nilang tingnan is yung success lang. Pero I'm just saying na before you reach that, yung ilang tries mo muna, sigurado yun, babagsak and malulugi yun. So you have to prepare yourself for that. By the way, if that happens, be sure to safeguard your risks as well. Of course, profit taking is not a bad thing, guys. Taking money out of your business is not a bad thing. Imagine mo para ka nasa sasakyan or nasa sports car ka lang. Hindi lahat ng oras dapat nire-redline mo yung makina niyan. Dapat naka 200 kilometers per hour ka. Dapat nandun ka lang sa cruising speed. Kasi if something happens dun sa business mo, at least you have something to fall back on. Magiging comfortable pa rin yung family mo by that time. Hindi yung tipong high risk, high reward, tapos pag nalugi ka, bankrupt ka, pati yung family mo magsasuffer sa mistakes mo. Second learning from my bankruptcy that made me millions is that do not enter a business with a debt. Someone I know told this to me and I'm not sure kung saan niya nakuha, pero the saying goes like this. In terms of debt, if you're smart enough, you don't need it. And if you're dumb enough, you don't need to get it. Kung matalino ka, hindi mo kailangang mangutang para sa negosyo mo. Pero kung bobo ka, hindi ka dapat nangungutang sa negosyo mo. It means that if you're smart enough, you can look for creative ways of financing your businesses like seller financing or raising family from investors or friends or relatives. You will be able to negotiate. Either they believe in your dream or the vision itself, or maybe you will give up ownership of your company, or maybe royalty deal. So hindi talaga dapat na porket negosyo lang kailangan inuutang mo ng may interest. Dagdag mo pa dito guys is 96% of startups will fail on the first year. And traditional businesses, 65 lang ang nagsusurvive within the next 15 years. Yung actual natin dito sa Pilipinas is way lower than the stats ng US. So imagine, yung profits mo dahan-dahan na kinakain ng interest ng mga pinagkakautangan mo. Ang hidden cost pa nito as a business owner for you is your peace of mind. Imbis na makakatulog ka na mahimbing sa gabi, na alam mong wala kang pinagkakautangan, walang interest na kumakain sa pera mo. Lagi mong iniisip kung saan mo kukuhanin yung hulog doon sa utang mo, plus kung paano mo babayaran yung principal. And kung ano yung mangyayari kapag ka biglang humina yung negosyo mo, paano mo tatangkiin lahat ng bayarin mo? On top pa yun ng gastos mo sa pang-araw-araw. Instead na iniisip mo kung paano mo ini-improve yung service mo, yung product mo, how you are keeping up with the competition, ano yung mga next plans mo, how you are troubleshooting your business problems, or baka naman, how you are trying to scale yung business mo na maganda yun na yung performance. Plus, I firmly believe that if you need to go on debt just to get into a business, I think may underlying issue pa yung finances mo. So you need to have your finances in check. Ang ibig sabihin dito, sa madaling salita, baka hindi ka pa ready kasi hindi ka pa ganon kagaling mag-handle ng pera mo. And newsflash, kapag nagkaroon ka ng pera, it will not solve your money problems. It will just make your bad habits on hyperdrive. Ang ibig sabihin dito, we often see yung mga successful na business owners, naka-sports car, nasa mga gandang lugar, travel and travel, only to find out na after a few years, wala na palang natira sa pera nila. So that's the second learning. Don't go into debt. Huwag mong ipangutang ang negosyo mo. The third lesson that I learned during my bankruptcy that helped me make millions is that brick and mortar or physical stores are money pits. Very, very high risk investment. Guys, the only time that I think this makes sense is that if you own the building or you own the land, in that way, whatever structure that you build on top of your land or on your property, inside your property, ikaw pa rin yung may-ari. Hindi ka natatalo sa renta. But if you're just renting, tapos magpapatayo ka ng restaurant or whatever, napakalaking risk niyan, guys. Malaki yan. Think of these following commitments. Permits, manpower, construction cost, renovation cost, maintenance cost, utility cost. Kapag pumalpak yan, and even if hindi yan yung source of income mo talaga, even if it's not your main source of income, may tendency pa rin yan na babankrupt ka kasi pagka nalugi yan, month in, month out, ikaw ang magpapalwal ng pera para hindi magsara yan. Again, I'm not saying na don't build a physical store. I'm just saying na build your business or your brand first, operate ka muna, and then kung kailangan na talaga, hindi mo na may iwasan, kailangan mo mag-expand, build a physical store. But even then, I think the only purpose of the physical store is to complement your digital or online store. Unless of course, restaurant yan. Well, actually sa restaurant, pwede ka rin mag-start as a ghost kitchen muna, di ba? So, ganun nga talaga. Ang advice ko is wait until the last minute before you build a physical structure. Okay, so pang-apat na tayo, guys. The fourth thing that I learned during my bankruptcy days, do not compete with giants. Anong ibig ko sabihin dito? We have a lot of giants in the Philippines. Whether retail space man yan, we have SM, si Pure Gold, si Robinsons. It may be restaurants like Jollibee, Inasal, Greenwich, McDo, kung ano-ano pa. Pagdating naman sa hardware and construction supply, you have your MC Depot, you have your Wilcon, and even yung mga regional players, andyan na sila. Guys, ang ibig ko sabihin dito is that as much as possible, when you see them operating on a certain geographical location, wag mo silang tapatan. Do not go head-to-head with them. So parang si Sun Tzu, Art of War. Appear weak when your enemy is strong and appear strong when your enemy is weak. Ang example ko dito is for the major retailers or the players in the area, kung magaling sila sa real estate, sa pwestuhan, lahat ng pinakamagagandang corner. So you don't have to appear strong. Hindi mo sila dapat tinatapatan doon. Kaya mapapansin mo yung mga sikat na place, kumain, restaurant, or even hardware sa rural area natin, hindi sila nakikipag-compete sa pwestuhan. Usually pag nasa central business district, sila mainstream restaurants, saan sila pumipesto? Pumipesto sila sa secluded na area, yung may overlooking, or di kaya pupesto sila sa may palengke, yung sobrang tao. Yung mga hardware naman, instead na pagandahan ng lugar, palakasan ng aircon, ang ginagawa ng mga regional players natin sa provinces is mas mura sila. Bodega style, wala ng aircon, pero makikita mo kaagad, ito yung mga equipments, mas mura kami dito, parehas lang din naman kami ng mga binibenta. Again, my point is do not go head to head sa kanila because these corporations, they have deep pockets. Kaya nila mag-operate ng 2 or 3 or 5 years nang walang kita just because they feel na magiging worth it yung lugar. Para sa atin, mga taong mortal, hindi natin kaya yun. Kasi ilang taon tayong susuka ng pera trying to compete with them sa laro na magaling sila. Not only that, yung other advantage nila is they have an army of analysts sa head office nila. They have an army of people that studies a lot of things. Ultimo yung mga trading terms, percentage ng profits per item. Alam na nila yan, guys. So napakahirap makipag-compete. Add mo pa dito yung advantage of being a big player across the Philippines or international. Kasi marami silang mga pwesto. And some of those branches are earning so much that they can actually subsidize yung mga stores that are losing revenue. So akala mo, ang laki ng kita nila, hindi sila nagsasara. When in fact, ilang taon na hindi kumikita yan, they are just subsidizing the cost to operate of that one particular store. Paano kung nagsara? Ito pa yung isang advantage. Kapag nagsara yung particular store nila, they can just transfer over the assets, the equipments, the inventory, the manpower to a different store nearby. Or magre-relocate lang sila. When sa atin, yung mga beginner business people dito, if you only have 1 or 2 branches, saan natin dadalhin yung mga stocks or yung mga gamit natin pag nalugi yung isang location? So again, that's number 4. Do not compete head-to-head with giants. Instead, find a way that you can offer a different value to a different set of clients. Kahit nag-ooperate ka sa same na space, these are just some ideas that I can think of when going head-to-head against giants. Pwede kang maghanap ng local na material na dito lang sa region mo nag-exist, or kilala mo yung local supplier, or limited yung supply na pwede mong kausapin ng supplier na ikaw ang maging exclusive. It can be a product that is highly customizable, kaya hindi siya pwedeng gawin basta-basta ng mga big box stores. It can also be a service that is highly customizable to your client's needs. For restaurants, it can be a secret recipe or a seasonal recipe na available lang yung ingredients sa area mo. It can be a place where ang ganda ng view, or a concept of a store that is very radical compared to what is readily available in the market. Or it can be a type of execution wherein dahil napakaliit ng business mo, ang bilis ng decision, hindi masyadong bureaucratic. That's why when you try to improve and make changes on things or on your product or service, pinag-iiwanan mo sa alikabok yung mga big box stores. So kung meron mga kayo naisip na other ideas, comment down below. I'm actually interested kung ano yung tingin nyo is pwede nating i-add dun sa mga na-mention ko. And if you're having fun watching this video, hit subscribe and follow me on my socials, guys. Last business learning for this episode, guys, is avoid businesses that has a lot of moving parts. So makano yung example ng mga yan? Mga negosyong maraming moving parts. Examples are retail or grocery, restaurants, convenience stores, hardware stores, drug stores or pharmacies, computer shops, tarpaulin prints. Basically, any business na it will be very complicated to operate. Maraming machineries na involved, maraming software, ang tagal mag-train ng tao kasi ang hirap i-operate ng software, ang daming permits na involved, kailangan mo mag-open ng physical store so gagastos ka sa construction and rent. Kailangan mo mag-maintain ng pwesto, maglinis araw-araw. Items that are perishable or have a very short-term shelf life. So yung mga yon, guys, obviously, merong mga exemptions sa rule na to. For example, talagang passion mo is complicated software and computers, or yung service mo is talagang na-enjoy mo siya and you enjoy teaching the technology to your staff. O di kaya naman, you have a staff na talagang marunong na kaagad from your previous business that you can easily move over. You may be running a family business or a existing business, or wala ka pang competitor doon talagang sa area mo. Captured market talaga siya. Yun yung mga exemptions. Pero normally, avoid mo tong mga to. Instead, think of ways wherein you can resolve the problems that come with this particular business. So for example, sa restaurant, pag nag-start ka, isipin mo muna, pwede bang konti muna yung manpower? Pwede bang wala muna akong pwesto? Pwede bang yung inventory ko on demand lang muna or advance order lang muna? Pwede bang yung mga equipments is yung small scale muna, hindi yung mga industrial kaagad na mamahalin at malalaki? So if nag-open ka, for example, online lang muna or packaged goods lang, for example, mga cookies na nakabox or nakapackaging, you have a lot of time to perfect your product before you formally launch it into the mass market. And by that time, of course, there will always be a risk. Pero kahit papano mas prepared ka na makipaglaban, marami ka nang natutunan. And meron ka ng mga idea sa mga next moves mo. And I hope you build your business, guys, and you succeed on it. Because contrary, do not feel na I'm discouraging everyone from building a business. Baligtad nga mas gusto ko na mas maraming Pilipino yung magnenegosyo because it not only helps our economy, it helps out your neighborhood and nakakatulong ka rin sa mga kapwa mo Pilipino because you are employing them. I'm just saying that to think smart about your money, think about your family, and perform calculated risk. Again, I wish you well with your businesses and your future businesses. That ends this video for today, guys. If you like this, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. The highlights of this video will be posted across my social media, so if you're following me on TikTok or Instagram, you will be able to get that. If you have suggestions for videos or comments or anything that you want to discuss dito sa series natin, Usapang Negosyo, comment down below, guys. For the next video, I will be discussing why YouTubers will be the next millionaires. Bakit ang mga YouTuber ang next milyonaryo ng Pilipinas? So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll see you on the next video, guys. Jomak here. Salamat sa panonood.